Welcome back. We have done so much. To backtrack a little bit, probably one of the last updates was us finishing up sanding in the interior and applying the rust converter, and that was a whole long process. Dan worked on the floors, so he applied a resin to dry into a hard plastic in the areas of the subfloor that were kind of rotting. We got a mold and mildew resistant primer, and we primed all the walls. We also got the Max air fan installed. Yeah, that's about what we're at today, and obviously Dan has started getting up wall panels, which is really exciting. So he's working on gluing those in today before he goes around with this nifty little tool that will cut around the windows. And then I haven't thought farther ahead than that, so we'll see where we get to. Yeah, that's the update. We're super excited. We're about 40 days into our build. I feel like I say it in quotes because it took us so long to demo. Yeah, it's really coming along, and it's really cool to see. It's really exciting, so.
I decided to go with the hardboard. Hopefully, turns out to be okay. Should be a lot cheaper. About half the price. And no formaldehyde.
We decided to utilize wall panels for our interior space rather than sprucing up the metal walls with paint because we didn't want to worry about the condensation building up on the walls during the colder months. We went with eucalyptus hardboard tempered panels for the main living space because they turned out to be on the cheaper side of available options. We did splurge a little on the closet we're turning into our compost toilet and went with a decorative MDF wood grain wall panel. And we got one HDF faux brick wall panel to use in the main living area for a little fun design touch. In total, we spent around $150 to cover our walls and the different paneling. We installed the panels in sections using construction adhesive and screws to hold the panels up. We installed the panels over the windows and then used an oscillating multi-tool to cut around the shape of the window. We thought this would be a simpler process than measuring and fitting multiple times, but this turned out to be challenging in its own ways because it was difficult to cut the material in a straight line. Another challenge we faced was the bowing of the panels after the install. The walls became slightly curved once the rain started, and in hindsight, we should have let the panels acclimate to the bus's interior humidity and temperature before installing them, rather than having the materials sit in our house. There were gaps where we installed the different sections of wall panels, so to close up those seams, we decided to give drywall a try. We applied a mesh self-adhesive joint tape over each seam before applying a joint compound.
Perfect.
We let that dry for around 24 hours before sanding the drywall down. And we repeated this process a few more times until the walls had a smooth, continuous surface. We do not recommend doing this. The drywall patches kept cracking as they were drying, and repeating this process was time-consuming because the drywall didn't always cure in 24 hours and sometimes took 2 or 3 days because of rain and colder weather. Daniel got all the bathroom wall panels up. Look at how good that looks. That's gonna be the composting toilet. Then right across from that, we haven't really made progress here yet, but this will be the shower. We got all the lights taken out, the vents, Daniel got those grinded out, and we finished up the wall patches with the drywall. that is an update. We're probably about 2 months into the build right now. After the drywall was complete, we added another layer of mold and mildew resistant primer.
I am working on filling these vents with spray foam insulation. We have this kind of sealing tape. I really have no clue what exactly it is.
We applied a roof seal tape to close up any gaps. I feel like that actually turned out pretty well. It's completely blacked out. Yeah, I like it. All right, next step is to actually get the spray foam in now. Woo.
So we finished up the spray foam in the vents yesterday. They kind of expanded a little more than I meant them to, so I think I'm gonna have to slice them off with a knife. But today I'm actually going to work on insulating this window. We decided we wanted to cover it up to just have a little more warmth, and you know, you don't get like the greatest view, so we figured this build around we're going to cover it up. In our maybe second or third iteration of our build, we talked about a pass-through, but first iteration, no pass-through, we're just going to insulate it. So got to start by cleaning it and then taping it. Same process that I did with the vents.
We applied canned spray foam, which you can find at many hardware stores, and after letting that cure and harden, the spray foam expanded, so we took a serrated bread knife to trim it off until it was flush with the wall. We repeated the same process that we used to insulate the vents for the window area.
We're doing things probably not in the best order, but the reason I want to paint the walls now is because I want to paint the ceiling and back of the upper cabinets, and Daniel is working on putting those together, so I think that's kind of the next step in terms of trying to get the upper cabinets installed. And once I paint this wall, Daniel can start getting the kitchen cabinets installed. So yeah, we are going to try to get some stuff painted with our Regal Select Benjamin Moore semi-gloss in white chocolate. And yes, I did choose this mostly based on the name, because there's like 100 different whites and they all kind of look the same. This is like a warmer, kind of creamy white chocolate. So let's see how it goes.
So we're disconnecting the vent buzzer on-off switch. The long one goes to the short nub, which is the negative pole, aka off switch. And then the short one up here goes to the long one here, which is the positive pole. And this is some kind of button switch. Probably goes to a buzzer in the cab. None of this is actually connected, so just gonna cut it, wrap it up, hide it in the wall, and forget about it.
We installed the brick wall panel just like the other panels, using construction adhesive and screws to secure it into place.
There is a seam down the middle, so we're gonna fix that and we're gonna make it inconspicuous. So I got this plastic wood filler. So basically what I'm going to do is fill it all with this use the drywall tool to smooth it out.
I decided to try a paintable plastic wood filler to close up the seam rather than go back down the dreaded drywall route. And while this did turn out to be an easier process, the product was a bit pricey and wouldn't have been a budget-friendly solution for all the walls.
So I've been letting this cure for about 24 hours. So I'm gonna work on sanding it down a little bit and filling in any extra gaps that need it. So I'm using a 150 grit sand block. It's not too gritty. So we'll see. Maybe really gentle. The nice thing about this panel is it's already pretty textured, so a little imperfection is okay.
I got a few sample paint matches at the Home Depot, including the gray grout color and the darker and lighter red from the brick. Once the wood filler was dry and sanded, I painted over it using a regular paintbrush for the grout and a sponge for the brick areas to try and match that texture.
Okay, let me show you what I did yesterday. Oh no, you can't turn this around. Let me show you what I did yesterday in a new clip. I started closing up the seams, as you are probably seeing recently this happened for me yesterday, but in this video, I imagine it will seem like it happened all very quickly. So I did these two yesterday, blurb and blurb, and they don't look the greatest, but from far away they do, and that's all that matters really. So we're gonna keep going on this project. Here is the finished wall. You can definitely still see the seams a little, but the further I move back, the less you can see it. So I'm pretty happy with it. It was an easy project because like I said earlier, it's already textured, making it easy to hide imperfections, and also because mostly things will cover the wall and you will not be able to see it very much. So we are going for good enough. That is the theme of this build. Okay, back at painting today, and it's a little cold, so hot. Where did I put the scissors? Rather than just jumping in, I already did a little test piece down there because that's going to be covered by a mattress to see if it would be a complete disaster. It turns out it's not going to be.